Now we're going to go ahead and pull the drain plug out of the bottom of the skimmer. This is a standard practice for all of our pools. We have an additional plug in the bottom. We're going to remove it. That'll allow any water that accumulates in the pool over the winter a place to drain out so that the water level stays constant. We're also going to put the gizmo in our suction line, not the line where the plug comes out of. It may be the front or it may be the rear for your particular, but you're going to want to make sure this goes into the hole that has the plumbing pipe on it, and the hole that you can see gravel through is left open for the winter time. This just threads right in. A couple turns until it's tight, and then we're going to go ahead and you may need a wrench depending on how tight you put the plug in last spring, but we're going to pull that plug out, and if you take a peek down there, we've got our drain plug open so water can escape, and then we've got our gizmo placed in the line. Now I've gone ahead and cleaned out the skimmer basket so it's ready to go for next season. I'm going to put the skimmer plug in the basket, set it on top of our gizmo. Some gizmos will have a plug. If so, put it in the top, and you're done. Now we're going to go back up to the pump. We've blown all the water out of the lines that go back to the pool. We've already sucked all of our components free of water at the equipment pad. We're just left with clearing out our pumps, pulling our pump plugs, and then reassembling everything so that in the springtime it's as easy as just turning equipment on and you're just about ready to go at that point. So come on back up. First thing we're going to do again here is clean out the leaves from the basket, the pump basket. Most pumps have two drains. This is a super pump. It has a drain located here in the front, which I'm going to pull out, and also one on the far side, which you won't be able to see. But we're going to pull both of those out, and again, for good measure, I'm going to shot vacuum the water out of that. The same on the booster pump. If you have a separate pump for a water feature or a cleaning system, again, at least one plug, maybe two. I'm going to pull that out and set that off to the side. It will, for the most part, drain on its own. We're still going to go ahead, though, and clear the water with the shot vacuum. We've got water out of all the components. Now we're going to start putting things back together. The first thing I'll put back together here is the booster pump, the flex lines. Be really careful on these quick connect nipples. They can be somewhat fragile. If you've taken any ball valves apart, make sure that you get your rings set back in properly. They will go back together without them, and you may not notice they don't work until you go to turn them on or off. Make sure your O-rings are in place. If they don't have any lubricant on them, now's a real good time to go ahead and grease them up. last but not least, we're going to put our basket back in. And I go ahead and I put all my plugs as well as my return jets, which we'll collect from the pool. I put all those parts in the pump, that way they're ready to go for next year. Now that we've blown our lines out and our equipment pad is all winterized, the final thing to do plumbing-wise is to put our caps back on our blowout plugs. I recommend a little bit of either Teflon grease or siliconized grease. Run a very, very thin layer around the outside of that plug, just another layer of protection. Then you're going to put it over top, and there's a very slight faint click when it takes its seat. It's a little bit tricky. You might need to run your finger around it a couple times, but it will sit completely flat and flush, and then you're all set. Now, last but not least, we're going to plug up the water jets that we blew clear. Now, the water jets do have brass fittings that we'll remove and plugs that will go in them. Typically, we'll leave them inside the housing of the jet, but as opposed to removing all that and putting that stress and wear and tear on both the lid and the fixture itself, we've found that wire nuts, just a regular electric wire nut, or a pencil eraser, the kind that slips over a pencil, works really, really well. It fits right over top, screws on, and it makes a tight seal. And that'll keep the water out until next year. Now the cover is the last part of this closing down here at the pool side. The safety cover is probably the most common pool cover. And as you can see, we've unscrewed, we've raised up our anchors out of the apron, the deck, and I'm simply going around and alternating back and forth. Now that we've got the cover on and the filter has had adequate time to soak, I'm just going to hose this down. The dirt should release just right off, very easy. And you want to make sure that the filter is thoroughly clean. Putting away a dirty filter and allowing a cartridge filter to dry with dirt on it will dramatically reduce the life, if not ruin it completely right away. So take some care in getting all the dirt here off. It may not look perfectly white, but it'll come pretty darn close. Now the last thing we're going to think about here as we close things down for the season is our electrical components. The PAL low voltage xenon lights that we use on all of our pools can stay in the pool. If you have a larger light, incandescent light, or a color changing wheel type light, many of those are to be removed. Ours, you're simply going to turn the switch to off and turn the circuit breakers to your pumps off and the timer off, and close them back up. And you're done. Hope this has been helpful. Any questions, please feel free to call our office or visit us on the web at leisurepoolscolumbus.com. Thanks.